Alright, I got this from www.survivorebooks.com, and it's Subcourse edition OD0455 Introduction Simplified Test Equipment Internal Combustion Engines Aipd. Alright, this introduction simplified test equipment internal combustion engine subcourse OD0455. United States Army Combined Air Support Command, Fort Lee, Virginia, 230801, 9 credits. Alright, purpose of the subcourse is provided you with knowledge component for the component operation simplified test equipment and internal combustion engine and the correct performance test and fault installation procedure for gasoline diesel engine. The scope of the subcourse broadly covers the STE and the ICE. Upon completion of the subcourse, the student shall have the basic knowledge of the STE, simplified test equipment, and internal combustion engine components and operation. 9 credit hours are awarded for successful completion of this course and consistent with the 2 lessons, 2 tasks as each examination follows. Lesson 1, Components and Component Operation, Simplified Test Equipment, Internal Combustion Engine. Identify the major components, Simplified Test Equipment, Internal Combustion Engine. Define Component Operation, Simplified Test Equipment, Internal Combustion Engine. Task 2. So Lesson 2, Correct Performance Test and Fault Isolation Procedure for the Gasoline Diesel Engine. Identify the correct procedure for the performing test fault installation of the gasoline engine. Identify correct procedure for performing test fault isolation in diesel engines. Alright, table of contents, title, table of contents, lesson 1, components for the component, operation, simplified test equipment, internal combustion engine, task 1, 2, course, performance on fault installation procedures, gasoline and diesel engines. Alright, lesson 1, components for the component, operation, simplified test equipment, internal combustion engine. Identify the major components, simplified test equipment, internal combustion engine within the self-study environment given the subcourse test without assistance within 2 hours. No supplementary reference or need for this task. Introduction, engine, military vehicle that today are complex than ever. The maintenance personnel will prepare these engines safe in a timely manner. The need of testing devices which will allow them to quickly, accurately troubleshoot the various types of system of the engine. The test device, simplified test equipment, internal combustion test set, simplified test equipment, internal combustion engine test set is a versatile tool used in testing, taking measurements of vehicle engines as well as the other electrical mechanical equipment. The test set is housed in a protective transit case, easily transported to the test site, complete with all necessary accessories. 2. The components. The STE ICE test set is 4 major components. Simplified test equipment, internal combustion engine test set, major components of the test meter with the transducer kit, with the cable assembly with the transit kit, your vehicle test meter with the vehicle test meter, computer control with the vehicle multi-test meter with the design to compact, simply operate, understand, or use for the testing electrical mechanical components. The requirement. Readings of the vehicle test meter are displayed as either pass or fail with a digital display such as pounds per square inch, revolutions per minute, volts, etc. The power of the vehicle test meter comes from the batteries. Vehicle equipment being tested from alternating power source of 9 and 32 volts directly of direct current. The vehicle test meter interface. Vehicle equipment being tested with a transducer kit through the diagnostic connector assembly DCA figure 1 shown in the vehicle test meter. Our transducer kit. Transducer kit is a collection of transducers, adapters that can be used to vehicles to do it. They do have a display, a diagnostic connector assembly. Combination with diagnostic connector assembly. The transducer kit allows mechanics to attach the vehicle test meter to different components of the vehicle equipment being tested. The transducer adapters are adapted with the tray fit inside of the transit case. Figure 2 shows transducer kit, several transducers and transducers adapters. Alright, your cable assembly. Cable assemblies are also considered the major component. All cables of the simplified testing equipment, the internal combustion engine test set are NATO type, so they can be thorough without NATO force of the cable assembly with a quick release sleeve type. They are marked with the connectors for easy identification, isolation, and removal of these cables. The W1 diagnostic connector assembly cable used with the diagnostic connector assembly on the vehicle. The W2, the test probe cable using for measuring volts and ohms. W3, the ignition adapter cable for spark ignition and engines transit transit kit, transistor kit, mode only. 4.5 transducer cable, transistor kit, mode only. 4.5 power cable, transducer kit, mode only. Figure 3 shows the cables with the 5 types of cables identified condition: adapter, power cable, transducer cables, diagnostic cable, connector assemble cable, test probe cable. Or transit case is a portable protective case for the simple testing equipment of the internal combustion engine test set. All necessary accessories: pressure relief valve at the front of the case allow for the operator to relieve the pressure that may build up due to the change of the climate during transit. Figure 4 shows the transit case with a pressure relief valve. Pressure relief valve transit case. Lesson 1: components. The components of the component operation simplified test equipment internal combustion engine. Task 2: define component operation simplified test equipment internal combustion engine with the study of the environment given the subcourse test without assistance with attendance within 2 hours. Reference: no supplementary reference or need for this test. Introduction: in these previous tasks, the lower major component of the simplified test equipment of the internal combustion engine test were identified with these functions were discovered in task operation. Each component with a different operation, each of the capable of performing as well as how to perform the operations will be discussed. Operation of the vehicle test meter, which is the control of the vehicle test meter, refer to figure 1, will be discussed before going on to the operation. Power switch is the first switch of the power switch is the push on, pull off. Vehicle test meter can either operate at 9 volt or 32 volt. Battery system power switch control of the direct current power through the vehicle test meter. Receive when the switch is pulled on, the power is on. With the shut off, the power with the switch is pulled out. A 4 amp circuit breaker causes the switch to pop out when something is wrong with the power with the switch to pop out. With the check for the hookup with the carefully with the try again with the perform returning of the vehicle test meter into the intermediate direct support maintenance. Test selection switch. Test select switch is select for the actual test being performed. Each switch has the 10 position number 0 through 9. The vehicle test meter reads the number dialed into the test select switch with only one with the test button is released. Check with the test select switch position has no effect if the test button is pressed. Test button. The test measure begins with the test button with the depressing relief of the measure value with the display with the normally for the particular vehicle measurement listed with the flip cards discussed in paragraph E2. E, the test button must be pressed and release the depressing holding the test button initiate with the offset. Readout display. The readout display will show the different type of the readouts during the test. The maximum of 4 characters will readout with either alphabetic or numeric. The type of the readout the display vehicle test meter with the test readout keeps operator informed of what is happening, such as the power apply of the failed test, etc. The number of the readout measured in the units of the measurement being read made. For example, if you are measuring a 0 to 45 volt direct current and the number is 24 on the display is 24 volts. Arrow readout indicates thus, for example, the wrong test number was selected if the transducer is not connected to the volt or the vehicle test meter is faulty. Flip card showing in the 2 digital test numbers for selecting various type of the summary of the test and operating instruction containing the TM94910571112P. Power diagnostic connector J1. Connector J1 connects the jumper 1 vehicle test meter with either vehicle diagnostic connector with the diagnostic cable assembly, or to the vehicle batteries using the power cable, the operating power signal with the transducer supplied with the vehicle test meter through the DC8 cable. Transducers connectors J2 and J3. Connector J2 and J3 the vehicle test meter with the transducer to any transducer and transducer kit. Operating power is supplied with the transducer signal. The transducers are supplied with the vehicle test meter through cable. Connectors J2 and J3 are identical, can be interchanged with each other and used in combination. Vehicle test probe. Connector J4 will test lead with the vehicle test meter when doing manual voltage resistant testing. And note, if your task will cover the go chain test, refer to TM94910757112P procedures to be filed with the no-go chain test. Or your confidence test. The vehicle test meter with its 2 built-in self-test feature. The first of these the confidence test provides overall performance check with the vehicle test meter that includes the performance isolation system with the IDS system, intermediate depot service maintenance, and confidence test run immediately after the power has been applied with the vehicle test meter. To run with the confidence test, the following procedures must be observed and performed. First, to ensure the vehicle test meter with correctly connected with the vehicle with the test and sufficient operation power is available. The display shown in figure A8 8. The change in 4 dashes. Next, select switch is 66. Press release. The test button display shows 0066. When 0066 appears on the readout display, the test select switch is 99. Again, press release and test button. Observe the display readout display shows 099. Then go back. When for a particular step, you observe the display and verify that all segments displayed on are on display. Then and figure 88888. If some segments displayed are not working, for the TM for removal of the installation digital display modules. Again, the display should show several other numbers. Go blank in the flash forward word pass. Alright, your offset test. The offset test is made with the before vehicle measurement is made. Offset test and all of the characteristic difference of the vehicle test meter. Test leads introducer. Offset test also zeros the meter only. Once the offset test has been performed, vehicle test meter automatically corrects for offset before displayed measured value. The displayed offset should be checked against the limited printed on the vehicle card display with the value of the output outside the limits, either with the transducer test cable faulty, with the must be replaced. With the offset test is performed by dialing the test number into the test select switches and holding the test button down until the vehicle test meter displays prompt message is calibrated. Alright, 4. The test number system, the simplified test equipment and internal combustion engine capable of performing 99 different tests. However, these tests are being used at the same time. This test number is the simple test engine internal combustion broke down as follows. Engine is 10 to 15 and 16 to 23 ignition, 24 to 34 fuel air system, 35 to 38 lubricating cooling system, 39 to 57 pressure temperature system, 67 to 88 starting and charging system, 89 to 99 electrical. Control function. In addition to these tests of the simplified test equipment and internal combustion engine, also control function chain with the very measurement of the display to run vehicle, the estimate of the display with the current test value updates display every half second. The control test changes process to allow the more depth and analysis of the engine performance. The simplified test equipment internal combustion engine incapable of performing 5 control tests. These control functions and their respective test select numbers are briefly described. Your inner leaf 01 cover the display with the alternate between the test was entered measurement of the engine speed. This control test useful when measurement is to be made with a particular engine speed and ignition adapter cable. Although the pulse tachometer must be attached to the vehicle test meter is not powered through the diagnostic connector assembly. Display minimum values. Next measurement 02. The vehicle test meter display the lowest value measured during the test. The test is useful with the lowest value of the measurement needed. For example, looking for the lowest manifold vacuum on the spark ignition engine display. Maximum value or next measurement 03. This cover the vehicle test meter display the highest value measured during the test. This test is useful for the greatest value of the measurement needed for the measuring cylinder pressure. Display peak-to-peak values of the next measurement 04. This is the vehicle test meter display with the difference between the highest value and lowest value measured between the display changes during a test. A peak-to-peak control function can be used with a dwell measurement to determine the dwell difference between the cam load. Park ignition full power simulation 05. This allows your user to simulate a full power operation spark ignition engine while making markings, for example, the maximum fuel flow without the maximum engine speed. The spark ignition full power simulation will continue until the vehicle throttle is released. Alright, 6. Vehicle testing. The simplified testing equipment and internal combustion engine system with the design of the tool for the mechanic to view the testing both electronic and mechanical components of the vehicle to troubleshoot the vehicle problem. The mechanical can use the system simplified test equipment and internal combustion engine vehicle test meter and transducers TM94910571112 and P and the vehicle test card along with the vehicle owned TM. At the beginning of the testing sequence, usually necessary for the operator to enter the vehicle information in the vehicle test meter, but the vehicle test meter will tell you the operator mechanic what the data is required. The reason for entering the vehicle data is certain test result. The vehicle cylinder information is to be done properly. If the vehicle identification is entered, then the number cylinders automatically enter number of the two types of the vehicle's information may be required. We'll discuss. Cylinder entry test number 58. Cylinder entry test number 58 calls out the number. Some of the number of the cylinder pairs with the enter for the operator can check with the vehicle test meter or the flip card on the vehicle test meter, but it does not know the number of the enter of the vehicle test meter response. This is the test number to 58 display with the cylinder. This is the signal to dial of the cylinder for the test. Select the switches press and release test button. Vehicle test meter will not try to perform a test. It will simplify. Remember the number of the cylinders. Error message cylinder entry number test 58. If you was problem with the number of the entered, one of the following error messages displayed: EO7, EO10, EO14, EO15, and each of these error messages display the vehicle test mirror connected with the diagnostic control assembly ID number 12. Testing may be continued. Refer to the appropriate vehicle test and technical manual to determine whether you're connected to the diagnostic control. ID number for the DCA's correct number must be entered. The error messages are E007 indicate the conflict of the vehicle identification with dial with the number to show whether dialed in, and maybe the occurrence to respond with a valid vehicle identification entry number of cylinders entry. E010 indicate that the wrong vehicle identification dial number was dialed into the vehicle test meter. E014 indicate the wrong number of cylinders was dialed in the vehicle test meter. EO15 indicate that the number of cylinders dialed into the vehicle test meter and the diagnostic control assembly mode conflicts with the number of the cylinders in the vehicle with the error message applied with the spark ignition vehicles only. The vehicle identification dialed entry test number 60 entry test number 60 calls for the vehicle identification dial to be entered. The number given the vehicle test control controls also TM94910457112P. The vehicle has been tested not listed on vehicle testing control. Select the vehicle the same number of the cylinders and the output using the vehicle and ID number. Alright, the vehicle test meter for the respond with the test number that should be displayed with the UEH. Well, this is the signal of the dial with the VID number and into the vehicle identification dial number. The test select the switch of the press relief of the test button. The vehicle test meter show will not perform the test. Just remember the vehicle identification dial. If there's a problem with the number, enter for the error message 077 000 E0 E00 E010 will be displayed with the error message have been described above. Either with the message displayed with the vehicle test meter connect with the diagnostic control assembly 13 testing continued. However, all other diagnostic control assemblies the correct vehicle identification dial number must be entered with the vehicle identification number entered with the number of cylinders automatically entered as well. D. Data display test. Next, let's cover the data display test number 59, 61, 61 through 64. Test number 59 is currently with the stored cylinder information test button is pressed. Test number 61 displays current stored vehicle identification dial number through the when the test button is pressed. Test number 62 displays the current attached for the diagnostic cable diagnostic connection assembly ID number test being pressed. Test number 63 displays ID number of the current attached transducer and connector J2. Test number 64 displays the ID number of the current attached transducer connector jump 3 or J3. Alright, setup and check procedure for the vehicle test meter. Before actually beginning with the setup of the vehicle test meter, vehicle pre-inspection must be performed. Pre-inspection check with this. This includes checking the fan bill for the proper tension, replacing them if corrected with the parade. Next, check with the ignition cable to ensure that they are securely attached in good condition. Check the oil level. If it's low, to bring the oil level to the proper level. Ensure for the fuel tank that has fuel for the testing. Check fill with the radiator necessary. Finally, inspect the battery for the crack case. Terminal post, and then replace with the battery. If it is damaged, clean with all the other corrosion. Check with the battery connections, the ground, the starter motor in good condition, securely connected with a clean. Check fill with the battery electrolyte. If it is low, after the vehicle's pre-inspection has been completed, connect the vehicle test meter and power cable to the vehicle to be tested. Remove the vehicle test meter with the power cable from the transit case. Connect with the power cable to the vehicle test meter and clip the leads for the battery. Red to positive, black to negative. Alright, the vehicle test meter power supply normally receive the power from the power cable to the W5 connected with the batteries of the vehicle equipment under type of the batteries or tab. Vehicle test meter can receive the power with the connection power cable to W5 battery and other adjacent vehicle equipment as possible. Third power source of the vehicle test meter can use the direct diagnostic control assessment cable plugged in with any vehicle with a diagnostic control assembly connector. However, there is mode power. No revolutions per minute. Measurements can be made with the vehicle equipment under test. Note, if the vehicle test vehicle test meter can case touches certain vehicles while master switch is off. If the vehicle test meter power is on, sparking may occur. Vehicle accessories may turn off. The vehicle test meter power switches may pop off to top off. popped off. This can happen on vehicles with master relay negative battery cable. The sparking will hurt the vehicle. Sparking won't hurt the vehicle test meter or the vehicle, but it still will interrupt the testing. You can't prevent it by setting you can prevent it by setting the vehicle test meter down so that only its rubber feet touch the vehicle on doing all tests within the master switch is on. Alright, after the vehicle test meter has connected with the vehicle batteries applied with the power of the vehicle test meter, pushing on the power switch with the power on, running the confidence test, paragraph 3A with the lesson with the shift of the operative vehicle test meter internal circuitry is working normally and the vehicle test can be begin. Our vehicle diagnostic. The portion task is detailed with the troubleshooting flowchart. Vehicle test procedure present with the task-oriented illustrated flowcharts covering the test vehicle with the serviceability and the go chain via faulty inspection, no-go chain. Task branching is controlled with a yes or no decision. Generally, yes leads to the next task, while no leads to specific no-go chain. No-go chain It is a series of systems-oriented, no start, no cranking illustrated flowcharts to similar those of go chain, go no chain, separated into these section files: spark ignition transistor kit, compression ignition transducer kit, and compression ignition diagnostic control assembly. Typical go chain test. Next lesson will give you the information presented in this lesson. Perform the test and fault isolation procedures of gasoline and diesel engine. Figure 5 shows a go chain flowchart. Figure 5 shows the go chain flowchart. Alright, figure 5 on previous page above the flowchart. Typically, the go to chain test, flow to the go 3 start current first peak test gives an idea of the flowchart looks like and how they are used on part. Page after flowchart of the procedure performing particular tests are covered using flowchart current along to gain an idea on how to read the flowchart. Alright, go chain steps. Typical go chain go through 3 starting current first peak test will be covered step by step at the beginning with a test condition current probe. This is accomplished by connecting P1 the transducer cable to W2 to jumper 3 the vehicle testing meter, connecting P2 cable to the W4 connector on the current probe, claim the current probe around the negative battery cable, which is connected to the ground, pointing the arrow probe towards the batteries. Dial 11 and test select switch, press and release the test button, crank engine several cycles. Now perform the current probe offset test. This is done by turning off all electrical power. Now dial 72 into the test select switch. Press and hold test button until the call message, calibration message appears on the display. Refer to the test button. Wait for the offset value to appear. If the offset value is not limited within negative 25 to positive 225, refer to TM 94910571112 and P for the offset volt installation procedure. Offset value is within the limits measured for the starter current first peak. Press stop button, wait for the prompt message go and appear with the display. Note, while cranking the engine with battery discharge batteries, it's possible the vehicle test meter will to lose power come on again after cranking has stopped. Display 4 dashes. If this occurs immediately, proceed to the battery test no go 81 TM 94910571112 and P. When go appears on the display, depress the starter switch until the off and the error message appears on the display. If the no number is displayed, proceed with the starter circuit kit. No go 80 TM 94910571112 and P. If the displaced number is not within the limits listed in the vehicle TM, then proceed with no goes 80 starter circuit test of the TM 491057112 and P. If the number is within the limits given the TM, proceed with the go 4 engine start lubrication check. Alright, practice exercises, instructions, and items. And there's the answers. Alright, lesson 2. Correct performance tests and faulty isolation procedure, gasoline, diesel engines.